how they interact. But another thing to go with like characters that you don't expect to have any redeemable qualities, and people that you should always hate. I mean, Sergeant Hatred is probably an example of someone that we should all find very vile and disgusting, but he's like the most lovable, like cute character ever. But yet we know we should probably not like him.
Yeah, you're right, because he is, but by all means, somebody who we definitely should hate. But he does turn out to be a really surprisingly likable character. And
he's always trying to redeem himself too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The right thing.
Yeah, he is. He's trying. He obviously is not easy for him, and he doesn't really start trying until he becomes sort of a major character in the series. But he is trying, and that's kind of, I think, the point. And actually, Doc Hamer and Jackson, they talked about that a little bit at Comic-Con, and they said one of the things that they were trying to do was there were a couple of tweaks that they were sort of making to the series. One of them was more shore leave, which is awesome because everybody loves shore leave, and there was going to be less Sergeant Hatred talking about liking little boys, and it worked out. And honestly, for me, all the jokes about him, being like, oh, look at his cute little PJs, talking about, I think it was Billy, and all those things, like, those were, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I always was kind of like, it always made me, like, slightly uncomfortable, like, oh, no, I don't want to hear that. Is that, I mean, I guess it's not just me, because they were talking about other people not liking that stuff, but did you guys kind of feel the same way, or did you just view it as straight up funny when he said those things?
I see it as straight up funny.
Yeah.
It's the silliness.
Yeah.
It's a weird subject because, it's like, it's a creepy thing, but it's like, since I know it's a fictional character,
right,
it just kind of rolls off, so I don't even really consider it as any kind of promotion of or whatever. I mean, it's a comedy show mostly, so it's like, I just like, it's silly, it's ridiculous, so,
Yeah.
But the fact that Hatred does have a lot of redeemable qualities about him, and that he is trying to fight all of this, makes him, like, anything he says is not going to be as creepy, because he's actually a good, he has a real heart.
Yeah,
and
I think you make a good point, because whenever they did have those jokes, it was always obvious. There was no question that everybody just viewed it as just like a silly, innocent joke. Even people like me who were like, oh God, I don't want to hear that. It was obviously just a joke, and it was kind of, to me, it's surprising that they had the confidence to kind of like go to actually make those jokes and to go forward with them, knowing that their viewers are going to be smart enough to be like, oh, these guys are condoning pedophilia.
Sure.
Something like that.
You know what?
Huh?
Initial Hatred is pretty spooky, though. Like, when we first hear about him, how he pretty much got the boys drunk and did things to them, and then seeing him at the wedding, it's like, oh, don't know if I like this character.
Yeah, and then we see him at the wedding licking Princess Tiny Feet's toes the whole time.
Yeah. That's creepy, because we don't know who he is yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you notice, like, if you look at all the times in season, I guess it's season 4 primarily, where he is, fighting his problem. He's always trying to stop himself. He's got like that scene in the movie theater where he's like trying to give himself more medicine, but he runs out.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other times where he like locks himself. He purposely locks himself in. That was the same episode actually. There's really only like 2 episodes where that happened actually. People seem to blow it out of proportion, but he locks himself in the panic room, and he's trying to not. He knows he's wrong, and he knows what he feels is wrong, and he's trying to stop it. But I think mainly it's just a subject that's very, very uncomfortable for people, obviously for good reason, and they just don't want to. Correct me if I'm wrong. They just maybe don't want to think about it in a comedy show, as a funny show. But at the same time, Sergeant Hatred being a pedophile or reformed pedophile, now working for Dr. Venture and in charge of being the bodyguard of two boys, is kind of funny. To me, anyway. I don't know. Maybe, and obviously to some other people, but not to everyone. So I don't know. I just think an uncomfortable subject makes people want to, kind of be like, oh, let's just, not talk about that because, instead, make some fart jokes. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and you're right about the comedy of him taking care of Hank and Dee now. But also you bring up a good point, which is it really works for his character for him to start off as somebody who's so vile and turn into somebody who's kind of overcome that part of his life. Even I guess we can still hate the Dr. Hatred of the past. Hatred, the Sergeant Hatred of the past. But now he's essentially reformed.
He's kind of got that recovering alcoholic. Like he says he used to drink, he used to smoke cigars and molest boys, and now he doesn't do any of that. He's reformed himself. He's kind of like the found a new place in his life. His wife left him, he lost his house, everything. So he's a different guy now for sure. And I think he's an entertaining guy just because he's just so into his job.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, Brock is just kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll kill a guy if I have to, but otherwise I'll stand here.
Yeah.
So it was a nice change, I thought, but obviously it upset some people to make those jokes. But I'm glad he's still around at least.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I was just thinking about things like most of the characters and the theme of the show is failure, right?
Yeah.
Almost Hatred seems to be a success in all of this because
he sort of started off as a failure and then went the opposite way.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's we guess is probably going to have another chance with Princess Tiny Feet.
Yeah, it seems
and
that way.
And he's changed from Hatred to he's changed out his tattoo. He's got the V on his face now. I mean,
yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that.
I didn't think about that until today when I was rewatching the episode.
Yeah, that was a good. I don't know. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not.
I don't know either.
It was good.
Oh,
They
they
didn't
have
say
to.
it. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they knew what they were doing, but it was funny.
Or they at least figured it out after they did it.
It at least started from the D is on a bad area joke because we all know the D tattoo, is down there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's just funny. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
I mean, he is essentially a success in all of the failure, which is a unique situation in the Venture Brothers universe.
It is a unique situation, and it's sort of a refreshing change of pace to see somebody absolutely succeed. And at the same time, as Mike was saying, he really is really entertaining just to watch because, as you said, this compared to Brock, who's just kind of like who I like Brock more than Sergeant Hatred, but Brock just kind of sits around. He's like, whatever. Sergeant Hatred gets so excited about everything. Like when Hank says he's gonna go join the military, he's like, oh damn boy, that's the best decision you ever made.
Sergeant Hatred was born to say hot dog and swing his fist in the air. I don't know. That was so good. I'm so glad that he did that because I don't know, it's perfect. And also, just like the scene with where they pretend to kidnap Dr. Venture. Like, would Brock ever do that? Like, no, come on. Like, he would just ignore Dr. Venture. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
He's a good character for sure.